Yo, welcome back to the Transfer Portal CFB podcast presented by No Context CFB. Week 4 is gone. That's tough to say. Week 5's here. It's a slate. It's not as good as the last few, but we'll make do. We'll have fun talking ball, projecting the week, talking about some stuff that's happened the last month. I don't know how the season is going by so quickly. A month is already gone pretty much. I don't know. It's wild. Got Adam with me today. How you doing, Adam?
Doing good, doing good. Time flies when you're having fun, and it's all college football is about having fun. So
Okay, spoken
we're
like a Texas fan. Whoa.
This is a great
We
day.
we also got Luke Krumich on with us today. We the founder. Yeah, I scuffed that so bad. I said I wasn't going to. Well, with We Ball podcast. What's up, Luke? How you doing?
I'm doing good, boys. I do go to Rutgers, so I understand the not having fun part. I'm also an Alabama fan, so I understand the not having fun part. But I love college football, and just having it here makes me happy. So it's been a great season so far, and I'm very excited to talk about this week 5 slate we got.
Has been a really fun season thus far. A few memorable games. I don't think we've had any game of the year type stuff. I'm not with that noise. A lot of great performances from players and stuff, though. How about Adam? When you look at this week 5 slate, first thing you think?
So for me, the first 4 weeks, I kind of try not to judge teams too much based on like how they play because you don't get a preseason. So I understand that sometimes it takes time to get things going. Not every team's a Ferrari. They don't go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. But after week 4, I gotta see some substance from these bigger teams. I'm talking about Michigan. You know, for for the really Georgia. Georgia has a lot of injuries, but still Georgia, Penn State. Still, I gotta see something on paper to show me that you're as good as I think you are. Other people think you are, but you can't just they're just coasting right now. I gotta see some substance, or I think they should all start dropping in the rankings, in my opinion, because you can't keep on going based on what we think you're going to be. You got to prove it at some point.
What we
That's
talked about the other day on our week 4 recap.
pretty much, yeah. It's time. It's time to like let's go. It's week 5. I don't want to hear any more excuses about. We just give him time. No more time. Show me something.
How are you, Luke?
I'm really excited for some of the ranked matchups we got because I feel like there's a lot of teams who have their first like legit test, and it's
Exactly.
going. There's a few teams who are going up against teams who have either proven that they're ready and they're there, they've already won their first big matchup, or teams that lost their first big matchup and are looking to bounce back, looking to make some noise after slipping down, maybe all the way to unranked, maybe you're halfway down that list, but we got a lot of teams who are they looking to bounce back, finally getting their quarterback back. Talking to Utah, okay, they're top 10 team in the nation, and Cam Rising's played what, one game so far,
No, he
so
hasn't played.
It's bad at
he
all.
hasn't even played, and they're a top 10 team in the nation. Like, they're an exciting team. There's a bunch of exciting teams I got on here. Listen, I think Kansas is going to turn up this week. I think they might give you guys some trouble. You guys might look past number
Y'all are really
24.
beefing today. That's
Oh
crazy.
my gosh, what did
Before
I
we even got
sign
on the
up
call, we were
for?
beefing. It's crazy.
Sign up, Liam. You set me
Nah,
up.
but like, listen, we know teams overlook other teams because they have a
Yes.
big rivalry matchup. It happens in literally every sport.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kansas versus Texas, maybe a little bit of a trap game. That
I,
that
I don't
Kansas team is no joke.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
Look,
But I'm a big Quinn. I'm a big Quinn guy. So I'm hoping that he continues to do well because I'm a big Quinn Ewers guy.
see. I agreed with that till the spread opened, like Texas minus 17. That was pretty cool. That it was like, all right, this is gonna take a monumental effort to for Kansas to come
It's
out with it.
minus 17.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, it's at
ridiculous.
home.
That's true.
It's in
That's true.
Austin. You know,
That's a nuts line though. That's
it is. It is.
crazy.
It like I would have thought would have been like 11 and a half,
Yeah,
12,
that's what I would
I'm
have
not
but
gonna
thought.
lie. I would take the 17.
I think I would too. Quinn's got to turn up. He's shown us he's a big game player. So go out there, just throw for a bunch early, get it over with, get out to a big lead against that Kansas offense, and kind of coast from there. And then maybe there's backdoor cover opportunity, but like that spread opening at 17 was all I needed to see.
That is a nuts line. That is. I mean, listen, I get it. Kansas is still like an emerging football school, but this is the best Kansas team in like a very long time. And people are like, wow, this Kansas team was great last year. They're even better this year. I know they lost some guys on the defensive side of the ball, but their defense looks better than last year, even with less NFL talent. I just think they're a very well coached team, and teams who don't, make mistakes, have a lot of penalties, normally do well against Texas. Unlike Alabama, who had a bunch of penalties and had 10 men on the field on important plays and stuff like that. The teams who are well coached normally do well against these guys who are just going out there to try and steamroll them. So that's always something I kind of look for these trap games.
I had a similar vibe for my first thought, which is just keep your head on the swivel. There's a lot of teams that are playing lesser opponents, a lot of them coming on the road too. Just gotta keep your head up, keep focus on the task at hand, and go out there and take care of business. I don't think I'm gonna have to name Penn State at Northwestern on this one. Like y'all take care of that. Don't let me name you in this. But SC Colorado, like Colorado just got pounded last week, and let's be honest, it's hard not to get up for a Colorado game right now. It's a team that is a Colorado team that is fighting for bowl eligibility, that is getting each and every single team they play 100% max effort. That's tough. That's the prime time effect. SC, you can't let your head down here though. Your defense reeks. Don't let Colorado throw for a bunch on you. Florida, Kentucky. Kentucky opened as like a 2.5 point favorite here. Florida's ranked for whatever reason. Don't keep your head. You gotta go out there, take care of business. Show that the AP poll apparently knows something that we don't. Georgia. They've been completely unimpressive. They ain't played nobody, Paul. You have to go out there at Auburn. You've got to go take care of business. And our preseason top 20, in my preseason top 25 article, naming Georgia's toughest game on the schedule this season, I said it was Auburn. So go out there, take control of this game, rivalry game. Don't go out there and coast in the first half again. It ain't working. Michigan, another team that has been completely
now that Michigan game.
And look, they're on the road too, and they're playing Nebraska. And Nebraska loves flirting, whether it's with Scott Frost or with Matt Rule. They love playing those one-score games and just choking it away. Is that on the cards here? I don't think so. But who knows? Who knows? You got Mizzou at Vanderbilt. Mizzou probably shouldn't be ranked. Well, I just don't think
they're fun though. Listen, they
are fun. They are fun. They played 2 awful games against South Dakota, Middle Tennessee State, beat Kansas State, played a decent game against Memphis, and got ranked off that. I'm not with that. You beat Vandy, sure. You contend with LSU, 10-point loss at home or whatever, next week or whenever it is. Well, yeah, I'll rank you then. But right now, go show us that you're legit. Go beat Vandy. LSU plays at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is ranked. I think we could all look at Ole Miss as the inferior team here, though. And LSU's feeling pretty high lately. Don't go drop the ball there. Oregon.
Hey, bounce back game.
Oregon at Stanford. Many folks who are now tuning into college football are going to say, hey, Oregon, Stanford, this game should be close. Well, you saw USC and ASU play a close game. This is what we do in the Pac-12. Our top guys go on the road to these lesser teams, and they struggle. Oregon fans have nightmares about playing not only in the state of Arizona, but also playing in Palo Alto. Who else? Tennessee hosts South Carolina. It kind of ruins the whole road narrative. I guess we could say Bama, Mississippi State, but that Mississippi State team just looks dreadful. And then I think you got to put, again, Pac-12, Washington at Arizona. It is not fun playing late night Pac-12 football in Tucson or Tempe. It's just not. If that Washington team goes out there and drops the ball, I'm petrified as a Washington believer. I really am. You can't do that. Just go out there, take care of business. So that's my thought.
Duke Notre Dame.
Duke, no, I didn't name
Duke
that
is the
one.
home
We're
team
gonna talk
there.
about. I didn't talk about this one because we're gonna talk about a lot later, and I don't think that Duke doesn't fit the mold of those other teams I just brought up playing at home. That's all I'm saying. Biggest favorite, biggest or favorite, or like I don't know, substantial storyline or something for you in this week 5 out.
For me, you mentioned them. I saw a stat about Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. I don't know if y'all seen this before. Lane Kiffin is 1-19 against teams that finish with 9 or more wins.
That's a low winner
That's
percentage.
that's not counting Alabama if they win 9 games, which they probably will. He'll be 1-20. He has a chance right now to fix that. He has LSU. They're at home, coming off a tough loss. They're going to be angry. At some point, we got to start a conversation. I think we got to start having. You talk about Ryan Day, how he can't win big games. Tell us start a dialogue about Lane Kiffin. You know, we all love him because he's hilarious. I love him. I love watching everything he does. He's funny, charismatic, but at some point, you got to start winning these games, right?
Lane's just waiting to take over at Alabama.
This
is his holdover job. He just wants to have some fun.
Right now, that's not gonna fly at Alabama.
Ain't getting that call.
That's not gonna fly.
I don't know, man. Listen. I am an Alabama fan.
You would take Lane right now?
Yeah.
Not right now, obviously.
Not right now, but when Saban goes, I feel like who else is it gonna be realistically?
Deion Sanders.
I mean, that would be electric, but I don't think it will happen.
I'm just gonna keep saying it for these big programs. If you're gonna get if Ohio State or Alabama or insert team here, I kept Clemson because I think if Dabo's not gonna adapt, if Dabo,
the biggest culture shift of all time, that would be the biggest college football.
I keep bringing up Clemson because Dabo's unwilling to adapt. And in this business, in this industry, you've got to make tough decisions. You got to put your big boy pants on and make a call. And Dabo ain't doing that. So if he's going to continue to say, no portal for me, no, we're not changing the offense, QB power this, QB power that, we're only going to recruit the same type of 6'2" jump ball receiver for our offense that doesn't even want to throw the ball vertically. Yeah, you got to make a change at some point and like say, all right, Dabo, thanks for the success. We could throw Deion a lot of money, though, and get any recruit that we ever want. So I think we're going to go and do that. That's why I keep connecting Deion to these big programs, because Deion at Alabama, he's never losing out on a recruiting battle. Any recruit he wants is it's free.
I hope that does not happen.
Yeah, we can't. Same with Ohio State. Can't happen.
I pray it happens. It's the perfect. He's doing the commercials with Saban. He just takes over, just rolls right into it. It'd be great. I would be so happy. But I have my doubts.
Knock on wood, Liam, just in case.
I feel like Saban's gonna have his hands very deep into who his successor is, and I don't think it'll be a throw money at the guy. I think it'll be, hey, this was my favorite assistant. Try to go get him. Okay, next. Like
Adam said, he doesn't win in big games. It feels like he's completely reached his peak at Ole Miss, and that they're not going to get better than the best that they've got. And just in these pivotal games, like they just fall flat. They look unprepared. They just don't. They don't look like a top. They never look like a top 20 football team. They just look completely outclassed. I love Lane. We all love Lane, but head coach of Alabama for him just seems extreme right now. Like, we got to figure out Ole Miss first.
I mean, he does have Pete Golding as his DC right now. So this season, I feel like it's a bit of a wash because Pete Golding is one of the worst defensive coordinators I've ever seen.
It might be the worst SEC we've ever seen in our life.
This SEC stinks, and we're dissolving the best conference in college football right now in the Pac-12. Yeah, it's the most nuts thing ever.
No comment on that one. How about the storyline you're most looking forward to or thinking about this week?
I kind of mentioned already, but this is the first real go ahead for like Utah. Like, we're gonna get to see what Utah is. They got Oregon State. I believe it's at Oregon State. I'm not positive.
It is.
That's a big game, and like that could set up to have 3 legit contenders in the Pac-12 of all of these teams. Whichever one of you wins the conference championship, you're going to be in the playoffs as long as you don't all lose to each other. That's going to be fun. I'm a big Cam Rising guy. I do think that offense helps him out a lot. just the scheme and stuff like that. But if they win this game and like by a healthy margin, they start creeping up to the 8, then they have, the rest of this Pac-12 season to get their way closer and closer to that 4 spot, slide right in there and just steal it at the end in a hot Pac-12 right now. Like this is the best I've seen this conference in a long time, it feels like. And I'm 19. All right, I get it. I haven't seen a lot of this conference, but this is a really good Pac-12, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And every game feels like you got to watch it because there's a ranked team in it, and they just keep coming out of nowhere. I'm like, I can't even keep track of how many teams are in the Pac-12, let alone how many are ranked in the Pac-12 right now.
Whoa.
So
We're one of the few conferences where the number in the name reflects the amount of teams that are asterisks till they all leave in the future.
That's so boring.
yeah, but there's
Theo.
two. There's
Yeah.
two. It's the Pac-2.
Okay,
All right.
this is undoubtedly the best Pac-12 that I've ever seen, and like this is how we felt going into the season. They've completely proven us right, if not like showed that they're even better than we might have thought, and we set outrageous expectations for this conference. But the thing is, this conference has always been must-see TV. It has always demanded people's attention. It has always had playmakers at every single position, fantastic quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, defensive backs, edge rushers, etc. People just haven't cared to watch. So I like, as Am and I kind of talked about the other day, Deion Sanders coming into the mix really help this conference and help people. They start watching late night college football now. It's more people watching Pac-12 after dark, and it's not even the peak Pac-12 after dark because we got USC Colorado playing a big noon kickoff and like that. I mean, if you look at the schedule this week, there's 2 games starting after 7 p.m. Pacific this week. There's 2 games, and one of them is Fresno State, and the other is Washington. Just wild. I don't know how Oregon State, Washington State wasn't Pac-12 after dark last week. Whatever though, this conference has always demanded people's attention and respect, and it's never ever gotten it. Yeah, I mean, it just stinks that this is the end, and it's finally getting the looks, man. It's tough, and we deserve 2 teams in the playoff. Just the facts. It's
all about that name value. If it's Oregon USC, I think they'll get it. If it's Utah USC, I don't think they will.
Well, it's going to be Washington and one of the others.
Well, yeah, I agree, but I'm saying like which of those 2 teams can be competing for that second spot? I don't think.
It has to be USC competing for that second spot.
If SC was competing for the second spot, like that 4 seed in the playoff, they would give it to them straight off the brand name there. I think just 100% they would win that outright battle. If it's Oregon, Oregon has a much better shot at getting in with that fight than Utah does, than Washington State does. Now, the thing is, like, I don't know. SC, as I've said so often, SC's season is the most like it embodies a tale of 2 seasons like nothing ever has before. The first 6 games that they play pale in comparison to their next 6. So their final 6 games, I mean, you're playing war after war after war. Like having to go to Notre Dame and then you come back 7 days later and you're hosting Utah, the physical toll that takes on you when you still have to go play Washington, Oregon, UCLA, and 3 or last game, like it's a gauntlet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a few battles where head coaches could really be on the hot seat following some losses, blazing inferno on that seat. Jeff Hafley at Boston College, his team playing Virginia and Tony Elliott. Loser of that game is going to be hearing so much negativity, as is the loser of Pitt, Virginia Tech, where you have Narduzzi going up against Coach Pry. Pry and Elliott both early on in their coaching careers at their current schools in Virginia, but I mean, those fan bases are saying some serious heat to both those coaches, and both fan bases seem to be fed up. So the loser of those 2 games, you might be looking for a new job this winter. That's that. I'll leave it at that. How about the most overrated and most underrated team that you've seen in the season thus
far? For me, I'm going to go with it. It was tough picking between these 3 teams. So I'm sorry if y'all chose one of these 3, but the obvious ones are Tennessee and Florida, right? Like they're just horrible. They have no business being ranked. but I want to throw Kentucky in there as well. I was looking at the AP and I saw they had like they were second. They almost got ranked. I think they were right behind Kansas State that just missed out. Those three teams are so bad on offense. It's insane. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't think Kentucky would be this bad with Devin Leary, but when you watch them play, it's I
I want to
literally
gouge my eyes
yes,
out.
that's what I was about that with the gouge. My it's so frustrating. Devin Leary, he played he's had maybe one good game. Florida scored 22 points against Charlotte. Did they score 22? It might have been 23.
Yeah,
I
22 to 7.
I don't want to short them that 1 point, but
It's a
They
huge
need it.
deal.
They need it right now.
Tennessee, they can't run the ball, and that's their whole offense. It's just this. It seems like when the AP voters are ranking these teams, right?
I
They get to
figured it
like
out, by the way.
you did. What do you?
Yeah. I figured it out today. They're
I
on
feel-
Kirby Smart's payroll.
Are
Everyone's
they?
talking about Georgia's schedule's too soft. It's too soft. They don't play anybody,
And the-
Paul. It's terrible. Look at the end of their schedule. Florida, Mizzou, Ole Miss, Tennessee, back to back to back to back. Let's just beef up. Let's beef up the top 25 with Florida, Mizzou, and Tennessee. Make it look good.
It feels
Garbage.
like it feels like they watch like 2 or 3 games a weekend, right? And they rank the teams. They get to like 19, 20, and they're like, oh, well, I got 5 more teams left. Let me think. Oh, look, Kentucky's undefeated. I haven't watched them play. Let me throw them in there. And it's so frustrating, right? They see, oh, but Florida 3-1. They lost to Utah. I got Utah at 9.
The bad
Throw
thing,
Florida in there.
the
Like
bad thing with Florida is they've watched them play twice. They watched them get smacked down by
Exactly.
Utah, and they watched them
Exactly.
win a mid-off against Tennessee.
Utah's worst game was best game was against Florida.
No, their best game was still against UCLA. I am dying on that hill. That was a good game. That was a good game.
The best offensive game was against Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go there. And but Florida is still, it just seems like they watch 3 games and then they just say, all right, whatever. Throw the bottom of the SEC in there and the bottom 5.
Time for
let's
bed.
go. Yep.
Yeah, for my most overrated team, listen, I didn't want to have to do this, okay? But I feel like it is my obligation to do so. And I'm putting UGA at the most overrated team in the nation.
Wow.
It's okay. That's okay.
The best part about that team this year is the offensive line. Their offensive line has been very good. A little bit of a struggle at one of the guard positions. I can't remember which one. But they've been struggling there. But other than that O-line is extremely solid right now. They're running the ball well. I don't think Beck has it. Like, I'm out. I'm done. I don't want to see him anymore. I want to move on to the next guy, the guy with the mullet. I forget what his name is, but I just don't think – I think that team – Stetson Bennett, I don't think he was a good quarterback. But I think he had the clutch factor, the leadership factor to carry that team to national championships and to be like, hey, you guys are a great team, and I'm just going to be some glue, and I'm going to hold you there, and we're going to win national championships. I don't think Beck has that. I think Beck is like a middling QB with no discernible personality traits on the field. And for that reason, I'm out. Like, it's Shark Tank. I just don't think he's got it. Like, I doubt that team because of him. I feel like their defense still has dogs, but they don't look as cohesive this year, which is a little bit of a problem for me. I don't think it's that much of an issue. They've been very hot and cold, where they were lights out in the second half of that South Carolina game. But that first half, Spencer Rattler did whatever he wanted, basically. It felt like his O-line let him down, but he was doing what he wanted. I'm really worried about Georgia moving forward. And I know they don't have anyone to play, so they're going to get into the playoff, or they're going to lose the SEC championship and still get into the playoff. And it's just like, what are you going to do unless you start holding teams accountable at this point of the season? Like, what is there to do moving on? Because you can't just move a team down because of a week 7 win. Like,
I think you can, though. Like, that's why I'm trying to push for is that you can. You need to.
We
do
won't
more.
see it, is what I mean.
We won't see it. But what I'm trying to push for is that and these voters are so important to the sport, and it's so unfortunate because they straight up don't know ball, right? But we need to do more as voters than just go and see Team A beat Team B. Here's final score, blah, 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 right there, blah, blah, blah. There needs to be more. You have to dissect the game. You have to see what was happening, why they moved Florida State down, because Boston College and Clemson just threw for a bunch of yards on them and made work of their defense and secondary like with relative ease. Florida State secondary is a major problem. I don't care if they're winning games, they're going to move them down. Georgia, again, they don't play anybody. They have the benefit of the doubt of winning all these national championships in the last 12 days, whatever. Like, so you do what you do with Florida. The last few years are riding high, and that's why you rank them number one over and over again in 2023. That stuff never makes sense.
I will say, Georgia has a lot of injuries.
They do, and they're on that path where they're playing bad first halves, and then they're dominating teams in the third quarter. That's what they're doing. They're outscoring opponent. I don't think they've given up a point in the third quarter. I could be mistaken on that, but they are dominating third quarters. But they also haven't played anything. And South Carolina, they should beat South Carolina by a whole lot more than 10. Their defense should overwhelm that offensive line to a point where I don't know, just creating a bunch of points off.
Listen, the UNC defensive line destroyed that South Carolina offensive line, and in that first half, I saw none of that from Georgia. Like
True.
It didn't look like a Georgia D line. It looked like a Mississippi State.
There's a lot of teams out there that are really bad in the first half right now. Wisconsin and Georgia, I think, most notably, and that's stuff that you got to fix. I mean, even Michigan, Michigan has not moved the needle at all.
The first half.
Bama has been a complete disappointment, and again, I don't know what's going to happen with the SEC and the SEC West in particular. I mean, we know what's happening in the East. The West, I'm afraid of. I really am. I don't know what's gonna happen, but nonetheless, man, Georgia definitely is overrated right now. I mean, they just are. We can't keep living off the past when we're doing 2023 stuff. It never makes sense. TCU being ranked to start the season never made sense. Voters need to be better than this. Obviously Tennessee and Florida are two of the most overrated teams in the country right now. I haven't thought that. I would name them. I'm going to name them too, but I'm already got that out there. So whatever. So then I think you have to look at the top 25. You've got to look at the top, and you got to say, all right, number 4 team in the country right now is Ohio State. They were underwhelming against Indiana. They were underwhelming against Youngstown State. Go Penguins. I mean, let's be honest. They got waddled on by Youngstown State starting quarterback, Mitch Davidson, I believe his name, waddled on by him in the horseshoe. That's just a bad look. Bad start against Western Kentucky. Found something clicked at some point in that game. Something clicked when they threw that deep ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. Just straight up, hey Marv, you're fast, you're better than everyone, more athletically gifted. Just go run downfield, throw you a quick little streak, easy money, bang. They rout that game in the end, and then Notre Dame was just a mid-off of all mid-offs. It was a coaching disaster class on both sides of the ball, but people only look at the result and they say, hey, Liam, Ohio State's still number 10 for you. They just won at Notre Dame. Why aren't they higher? What did they show us in that game that we didn't already know? The defense is good. The defense is great. We already know that. We knew that coming into the season. Those of us that know ball, those of us that are smart. Then what do we see? Ryan Day tried throwing the game away so many times. We're talking about 4th and inches end around. Let's go, man. Love that. Fire me up. Team bails you out of any buffoonery in the post-game interview, but let's not get into that. Let's talk about the on-field product. Kyle McCord is truly he's clutch. He is clutch. I'll give him that, but it is such a roller coaster throughout the duration of that game where he's got some highs and he's got some lows, and that's what happens with these young quarterbacks and everything. It's first grader Rosar. He played a good game. I'll give him that. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I trust it week after week right now. I really don't. And I don't trust their offensive line. And again, I don't trust their play call, but I don't love an offensive line when your starting left tackles have the most penalties called on them of any offensive lineman since the start of 2022 season. Ohio State's just overrated number 4. They just are. How about underrated? That's more fun.
Most underrated team?
Yeah, that's a lot more fun.
I think Louisville should be ranked. I think they should be a ranked team right now. They're playing good ball. They're a lot of fun. I think they're better than a Mizzou. Luther Burden carries Mizzou. Like it's how it is, and I think they deserve. They have some bigger games. They have some more conference play coming up. So I'm sure if they keep winning, they will be ranked. But
Yeah.
I think they're just a fun team, and I love fun teams. And when fun teams win, we all win because we get to see them more and they get more press and we see more highlights. We don't just have to see posts about Taylor Swift on our Twitter and Instagram pages. We get to actually see football stuff when fun teams win. So I'm excited for them to get deeper into conference play and start beating some actual teams and maybe put the nail in the coffin of some coaches' careers. Not careers, but current jobs.
Oh, geez.
Wow. Find a new hobby.
I like Louisville. Louisville's got a really fun wide receiving core and a really fun running back room. I don't think that they could be ranked right now because I just looking at the schedule, they were just watching the Georgia Tech game. They were very lucky to win that game, and then they blew the cover. That was tough. Indiana was the win against Indiana was terrible. Indiana's awful. And then you look ahead and you're at NC State, and then you got Notre Dame.
I'll be honest, I thought that was Nebraska and not Indiana, and that changes things a little bit for me. But it doesn't change them enough. I still think they're a lot of fun, and I love.
They are a lot of fun. They are a lot of fun. If they could win at NC State, I think we could start to talk, and we'll see how they fare against Notre Dame, and then could make a decision. I just gotta be patient. I've learned from mistakes. I jumped in too early on Syracuse last year. I'm just speaking from experience. How about you, Adam?
I'm gonna stay in the ACC. I'm gonna go with Miami. I think Miami is a lot better than the credit that they're getting. They're I feel like kind of like Oklahoma. They're kind of flying under the radar right now because I've been hearing that Florida State has the conference locked up, and
I've been hearing that too. You know what?
I feel like Duke still's got a little bit of a candle to hold.
I agree.
Don't get me started on Duke.
But again, I feel like Tyler Van Dyke, he's playing like how he was a couple of years ago. I feel like Shannon Dawson, OC, has him running a similar offense. They look good. They still got questions, of course. I'm not saying that they're a top 10 team, but I think they deserve a little bit more headlines, than some of these other teams are getting.
I was actually going to bring them up too and fault myself. I think I made a mistake not ranking them after week 4. I should have ranked them. I think they're worthy of that. So hopefully they don't lose against Georgia Tech in their next game. They don't play this week, have bye week, but Miami will be ranked for me after his bye week. I'll own up to it. I underrated them, and then we'll see. They got North Carolina and Clemson after that Georgia Tech game. I could go out here. I could say Washington State's one of the most underrated teams, which they are, but I don't just want to talk about them. I gotta talk about Duke. I was already gonna get started on Duke, so we might as well just all stay in the ACC here. I've said it. I've DM'd people about this. 2022 TCU plays the game against 2023 Duke. I'm taking Duke. I'm just taking Duke.
That's wild.
It seems wild. It does seem wild because one made the national championship game.
That's wild.
And one's got a lot to prove.
That's wild. To say that after week 4, that's wild.
I just don't know if they got the playmakers.
They have. Well, I gotta just set everything.
They have Riley Leonard. They have a much better quarterback.
They have the most intelligent and athletic quarterback in the country that is already playing like an NFL decision maker. He just does. He's so cognizant of the game, the down and distance, if you just watch him play, it doesn't matter if it's the Clemson game or a Northwestern game, and you just watch him just have the wherewithal to throw a ball away and play for the next down. It's little things like that help make him special. And they've got 3 solid receivers. They've got a really good and dependable run game. They've got an elite left tackle anchoring a great offensive line who, talked to Eric Alco today. He said they've got 4 to 5 legit offensive line. That's what you want. Also talked to them and brought up, they got 6 to 7 playable DBs. Name another team in the country that could have something to say. There's not many other teams that could go out and say that. They have a good linebacking core. They have a great front 7. They went their offensive line went toe to toe with Clemson's front seven in a game where both those units just won. They just traded wins. Good special teams, elite coaching. Mike Elko, the most underrated coach in the country. I will break down a door and then another door to get people to realize that man's the most underrated coach in the country. If he's not coaching at Duke next year, it's because he's coaching at a very well-regarded Power 5 school and just got paid a bunch of money to do it. Elko's elite. And you look at Duke's schedule. You got Notre Dame this Saturday. That's a dub. You got NC State. I like the win there too. At Florida State's the big one. All we've been hearing about is this is a lock for Florida State to win the conference. What I love about Duke, I know every single week that Duke is going to play their brand of football and they're not going to cower. They're not going to fall down to their opponent's inferiority level, and they're not going to rise up to their opponent and play some different kind of game. They're going to play Duke football. So we know they're playing Duke football, and they're confident in that. And against Florida State, they match up pretty nicely. You got a 6'4" athletic demon, Bruce Feldman's freak list, I believe, Miles Jones, match up against Keon Coleman freaks list. That's a nice matchup. That's fun to see. I don't know, man. Like, I really, coming into the year, I had Duke going 10-2. I'm at 11-1. Like, I just think that team's that good.
My brother, you have sipped the Kool-Aid.
But I was sipping it before it was made.
You made the Kool-Aid.
Yes, I'm driving the bandwagon. I'm trying to preach the good word. I'm not even on Elko and Riley Leonard's payroll. I'm doing this for free. They need to send me some merch. I mean, like, seriously, though, you look at their schedule and you look at this team and just how well coached they are and the business-like approach that they take, and having a quarterback that like that, you could win so many games. You really can, especially. They're going to make a statement against Notre Dame. I still die on the hill that against Clemson, you saw like their C+ game. They had not played. That was not one of their better games, and they still haven't showcased. You know, Riley Leonard's only thrown for one touchdown this season. Thrown for one touchdown. Just wait till you see. Yeah, just wait till you see the vertical passing game open up, because they haven't showcased that yet. They're just running through inferior opponents, run the ball down their throats, just getting out of there with wins. And what do I love? They don't play with their food. They're playing an inferior opponent. They take care of business. They take out the trash, and they move on to the next one.
We'll see. We'll see.
No, I agree with your points about Elko. I'll be honest. I was working with Temple last year, and his first game as Duke head coach was versus Temple at Duke, and that guy's on a different level. The way that he treats the game of football, where it isn't like, I'm going to show off what I have in my first game as head coach. He's like, I'm just going to beat you guys because you're nothing. There's nothing here. You're starting Mathis at quarterback, and now he's a 6-string wide receiver. We don't got to get into that. I'll probably get in trouble if I speak on that. I'm a EJ Warner fan until I die. I love that man. But
who doesn't?
Listen, he's such a good kid. I getting to know him personally, he's such a good person. Like, he rocks. But he did not go in with the intention of showing off being the new Duke football. He came in there to win and get out and get his paycheck. And that's what he did. And it was very fun to watch, even though I was on the wrong side of it.
Look, a lot of teams are going to be on the wrong side of it. And I stand on the hill that 2022 TCU would not beat this team. If they played 100 times, Duke is winning more than 50% of those games. I just think it's the facts. I just think that they play such a sound brand of football that is so hard to beat. And y'all, look, I'm so confident that they beat Notre Dame this week. It's whatever.
You're so confident?
If they beat Florida State, I mean, what are we going to do with me? What's going to happen? Am I going to go from orange to blue? Can be a part of the Blue Man Group? Like, what happens? Don't know. But that team's just good, man. How about we gotta get the game picks soon here, so we'll skip the player thing and go to what Power 5 school should be paying a whole lot of money to a certain head coach that you've come prepared with, Adam, this offseason.
Certain head coach, or to get a head coach?
To get a head coach, yeah.
it's kind of a homer pick, but
That's
I
okay.
think it makes sense. I think the University of Houston needs to figure out their head coaching situation. And I say that because Texas, Oklahoma are leaving. Colorado's coming in. Deion Sanders, he has a proven like pipeline in Texas, obviously, right? He's coached here. He has knows a lot of kids here. A lot of kids love him. A lot of kids' parents love him for obvious reasons, right? Cowboys. If Houston doesn't figure that out, Deion Sanders is going to go into that city where it's so much talent in that city, as we all know, and he's going to rip it apart, and it's going to be you'll never be able to recover from that. So they have to go out there. I don't want to say you have to make a big name, but he has to be proven, and he has to have the cachet to combat what Deion Sanders is going to do, what Utah's coming in, what Utah's going to be able to do. So yeah, I'm going with
So
Houston.
if I said GJ Kinney, is that not enough?
Oh,
Because you're looking for an older guy, more proven, wins
no,
under.
no, it doesn't have to be older because
I was gonna bring him up. That's my guy.
I think a younger voice is the new face of college football. Like
Go get GJ.
I don't know. I hate saying you have to make a splash higher because I don't think you do, but you can't mess up. It has to be for sure that's your guy. You think he's the guy?
I think he could be. I think he should have got a bigger job than Texas State this offseason. That's for certain. I'm blown away that Tulsa didn't hand him the keys. I
Yeah.
can't believe that. I think that there's a lot of good names out there, though.
There is, but in like I said, in that city, there's so much talent, and if we've seen it happen before, that if you can just recruit inside the city, that's what Houston basketball does. Just recruit inside the city. I mean, you could do so well. It's
yeah, they definitely got fun. We'll figure out the head coach of their dreams sometime. we'll get it done.
I was gonna go with GJ Kinney as my pick, and I'm just gonna say it because I don't know which one's gonna get fired first. One of the Virginia teams just needs to pick him up and let him run, bring Mac Leftwich with them, and just let the guy cook. I'm every week I watch that team because I'm just so impressed with their offense and their play calling and their scheme. They attack in the right ways. They got down, I think, 17 points this week, and they adjusted and they came back and they won that game by a good margin versus Nevada. They are an impressive team, and doing this with Finley, he's not a good quarterback. I'll just be honest, bro. He's bad at football, and they're making him look very good at football. So I think he's got it, and I think he'll take. I don't want to say like the Beamer approach if he'll go to like kind of a team that was stuck in a rut and bring them back to competing for the not competing for the conference, but slowly move them back through bowl eligibility, rank them, and then hopefully one day compete for the conference. But I think that he's a culture builder, and I think if you get him and you give him the money to go get his staff and like keep his staff together, I think the sky's the limit for the guy.
I definitely do too, man. I think the sky is the limit for another offensive mind guru, Ryan Grubb. And someone's going to pay him a lot of money this offseason. Yes. I just don't know who it's going to be. And I think I'm sitting here looking at the Big 12, and I'm thinking maybe a Big 12 school goes out and gets him. And I don't think Houston would be the fit. I think, I know we flirted with the idea of Oklahoma State parting ways with Gundy.
That's what I was thinking
if
too.
they parted ways with Gundy, make the call to Ryan Grubb and let's go cook. Make football so much fun out there in Stillwater with what Grubb could cook up. I mean, like, let's be honest. Oklahoma State football is what has happened. It's so boring. It is. They had been so much fun to watch year after year after year of my childhood. And now it is like watching paint dry. It is an abysmal experience. They need to inject some fun into that program. Ryan Grubb's the guy to do it, mad scientist.
I want to see him at Texas Tech. I know they just got Joey McGuire, but I want to see him at Texas Tech. I want to see that offense be electric again.
Like I thought about them and Baylor, but like I don't know.
Texas Tech has a splash already. Like you
I
can get
just don't know
recruits to
about.
come to Texas
I
Tech
just don't know
very
about
easily.
Texas for them. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, we're talking about because you gotta look
What
where
do you think
Grubbs.
Oklahoma State's gonna recruit? I mean, they recruit
I
from
mean,
Texas. It's the
I know,
same.
but it's like I don't know.
I always want to give a head coach like that. Like, if I'm a team that knows that they can run their state if they try hard enough in recruiting, I'm always going to be in favor of going for that smaller name head coach, that specialist, that offensive guru, the guy who's going to change the entire culture and the entire way you play football. Because all you have to do is beat out another school the same size in your state, or even just like OU, they don't really recruit that much of Oklahoma. They're getting kids from Texas and all these other states because they can just go out and get whoever they want. So you can run at least a large portion of that state if you pull that approach if you're Oklahoma State. So I'm always in favor of that and trying to just run your state when you have a guy like that who's not this big name.
That works, but Texas is such a big state. I mean, there's a lot of love to share.
Well,
You know?
we'll see what happens. Player focus this week: one Power 5, one Group 5 / FCS. Adam, what are you rolling with?
I rolled with Spencer Rattler, my guy. Was that your pick too?
It in fact was. I'm a big Rattler guy,
Nice.
so
I want to see him cook. I'm ready to see him cook. We kind of talked about this before. I think he's playing himself into a top 5 NFL draft pick. Not top 5 quarterback, not top 5 overall.
Okay.
Top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, me thinking it was
I love
about
Rattler, but goddamn,
No,
bro,
no.
you just give me a heart attack.
He's playing himself in there, you know. And then for my group of 5, I went with Blake Watson from Memphis. He kind of had a down game against Missouri. They got Boise State coming in. I think Memphis has a chance to be a really good team in the American. So I want to see if he can bounce back against maybe a kind of down year for Boise State. Maybe not what we expected. They're still good, but
it's my worst fear. Just talking about offenses and wanting to not have all play calling dreadful.
Yeah, I went with Spencer Rattler, Blake Watson.
I also went with Spencer Rattler.
Nice. I was gonna do Cam Rising, but I wasn't sure he was gonna play.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Cam Rising is like an enigma right now. We don't even know where the guy is. But Spencer Rattler has been playing Heisman level football if he's on any other team in the nation right now because that offensive line is so horrible. If you put him on any team that's ranked right now, obviously like top 20, not Mizzou or Florida. He's in the conversation. If he's on Bama right now, they're undefeated and they're fighting for a national championship.
Hey,
just saying.
Undefeated. I don't know about that.
I'm just saying they're like number 2 in the nation right now if they've got Spencer Rattler, not Jalen Milroe. God help us. He's just been so good this year with such a poor situation with how that offensive line has been. He hasn't had Wells very much, and Wells is an absolute dog.
Nagging foot injury, so annoying.
It's so horrible, especially because I put him in so many first-round mocks earlier this year, along with Tez Walker, who just can't play football right now because the NCAA sucks. But yeah, that's my pick for FBS. And for FCS, I have Javon Solomon from Troy versus Georgia State.
Nice.
He's an edge rusher there. He will be an actual they're gonna try to move him to outside linebacker or maybe stand up in the NFL. But he's a lot of fun. I love like tweener edge rushers who are skinny fast, not super tall, and just absolutely make guys look silly on the edge. It's my favorite type of edge rusher. And he's one of those guys, and I just love watching him and laughing at tackles. It's great. I love it so much. So that's why I picked him.
I don't know what the heck is going on here today. You two both picked Spencer Rattler, and then we both picked guys from Troy. I don't know what the odds of this were, but I hyped them up on our week 4 recap. I've been very impressed by by this kid's game every game I've seen him play this season, because I've watched a lot of Troy, even though I kind of detest that team this season. Chris Lewis, wide receiver, 6'4". He's transferred from Kentucky and he's playing himself. He's showing why a lot of teams are going to covet him in the transfer portal once again this winter. He's only made 12 catches. They're for 20 and a half yards, 2 touchdowns. Both touchdowns are highlight reel grabs. One of them's a Hail Mary. Again, 12 catches. I could confidently say more than half of them have been highlight reel grabs worthy of a SportsCenter top 10 play. Like these are all plays that you put in a great players mixtape at the end of the season. His catch radius is nuts. The hands are special, and for a Troy offense that is really struggling and struggled staying back the last season, that's just the brand of football they play. Get the hands into this kid's get the ball into this kid's hands. Like he is far and away the best player on that. The kid with the most potential on this team, bar none, is Chris Lewis. He could be a star at this level, and then we could talk about NFL looks soon enough. But every catch he makes is just. I just want to rewind the broadcast and just watch it again. It's incredible. And then my Power 5 guy, I could obviously say Riley Leonard, but I'm pretty sure I've already picked him for this. Graham Barden. I'm going Graham Barden. And in a matchup where the offensive lines are so important, and a lot of eyes are going to be on Joe Alt, who, again, I would give a Heisman vote because he's one of the best players in college football, one of the 5 best, bar none. Graham Barden's got a lot of eyes on him this game against a Notre Dame front 7 that has made their presence felt. And after Graham and that Duke offensive line did well, they did really good work against Clemson's front 7. Another big opportunity for him here before he has that Florida State front 7 soon. He's just going to keep producing elite tape and elite production against really good front 7s. When we're talking about top 50 NFL draft picks, Graham Barden's going to be in the mix. So eyes out for him this week. Now we could go
into the OT3, bro.
In this offensive line class is
the offensive line class is weak.
No, it's deep. The offensive line class is deep.
Offensive tackle class. I'm sorry.
No, it's deep. It's
I don't think so.
It is. Eric Galko just said it's one of the deepest that he's seen recently.
Offensive tackles?
Offensive linemen as a whole. Like, it's deep.
I was talking about the tackles.
We'll move on to game picks, though. No NFL draft talk right now. Sorry. Utah, Oregon State. Big game.
I don't think Cam Rising plays. I'm going to Oregon State. I think they hold him out for the bye.
I'm going Utah. I'm taking Utah. I think he's going to play. They've just been saying he's going to play for the last 8 weeks, it feels like, even though there haven't been 8 games. I feel like it's the week he's going to roll out and be a hero. So it's my pick.
There hasn't been a single week where I've ever thought Cam Rising was playing until this week. I'm taking Oregon State, though, bouncing back from the loss to Washington State. They got down that game. They fought back. Their offense looked really good in the fourth quarter. Just keep the mojo going and prove to people. They got dropped so low in the rankings. I'm not going on a tangent. Just give me the Beavers and Florida, Kentucky. Ooh-wee, game of the year.
Give me the Gators. Offense is going to be terrible, but at least Florida can run the ball a little bit.
Chomp.
Give me the Gators.
Yeah, this is just going to be ETN's game. I'm going with Florida because he's just going to continue to do what he does.
Yeah, you could give me Kentucky here. I mean,
the Gators stay ranked.
The home unranked team is favorited against the ranked opposing team that should not be ranked at all. And hey, who knows? Kentucky wins this game 20-10, and both teams will be ranked.
Oh.
Woohoo! A&M Arkansas. I'll say it. Both these teams should be ranked out of Florida.
No. These teams aren't very good.
Says a lot.
The whole SEC sucks.
Says a lot.
This is in Dallas, hometown.
Of course. Jerry will be at the game. Yep.
Is Connor Wigman healthy? Is the question. Either way, I'm never going to Arkansas.
I feel like we're getting close to the point where Jimbo might be gone soon. Like, that buyout's the only reason he's still here. I'll be honest.
Like $80 million.
Yeah, but they got that money. We all know they got that money. I'm going with Archie because I believe in Sam Pittman more than I believe in Jimbo Fisher, which is a nuts thing to say if it was 8 years ago. But
Sam Pittman just deactivated his Twitter.
Really?
Very sad. Yeah. He
Oh
was
wow.
cyber bullied off by all the memes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I believe the quote was, "I already know I'm fat, and I just go on Twitter and see everyone like says I'm fat." Just something about that was what he said. Feel very bad for him.
Was this today?
Yeah, I saw he deactivated today,
Oh, he
and
might not be locked in. I'm switching to A&M. I don't think he's locked in.
I feel
Nah,
very,
revenge game.
I feel,
Revenge game
I,
versus Twitter.
I feel very bad about it. I don't know. People are just so rude. I'm taking A&M though. Those things don't have anything in any way to correlate with one another. But Evan Stort's one of the most gifted players I've seen in quite a while, and
God, he's so
more people
good.
got to talk about him.
He's
If
so
he
good.
wasn't playing at A&M,
If he,
where's
I
the
want
talk
to,
about
I
him?
want
He's one of
him
the
at
best
Texas
receivers.
so bad.
He could come over to one of the Pac-12 schools and put up 2K receiving yards in this season if he wants. That's all I'm saying. Now, usually
Who picked this game?
we pick good games usually, and then on our week 4 recap, Am and I were like, "Hey, what if we just pick Virginia Boston College?" So we brought Virginia Boston College here. We're picking one of the worst games to ever be picked.
I mean, Boston College has won a game, I guess. They didn't look terrible against Florida State. I've seen something from them. Virginia, I mean, they might not have a head coach in a couple of days. So,
Oh my gosh, hot take, loser of this game, the head coach gets fired instantly.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
I'm
with
gonna be
Boston
honest.
College.
I really don't think either of the coaches in the Big Two in Virginia are gonna be sticking around much longer. And I'm picking BC solely because I have a friend who's a Boston College cheerleader, so this is for her.
Well, there's the college game day type of pick. I'm taking Boston College because, yeah,
That's what BC
they're
stands
just,
for. Because
they're just better than Virginia in, I would say, every facet of the sport except for the receiver room, where Virginia has. It's so bad. Virginia actually has an edge in the receiving room against most of the teams they play. Like, they really do. Washington Fields are excellent players, and they don't know how to utilize them because Tony Elliott's running the light version of Clemson offense. Oh my goodness, gross. Kansas, Texas. Wow, I wonder who Adam's picking.
You know who I'm going with? I think the boys are on a mission. That loss to Kansas still stings. The memes, I mean, they're gonna be locked in. Normally, I would think yes, it has potential to be a trap game, but it's Kansas and they lost to them very recently. You're not gonna fall for that again. I don't think they're gonna fall for that again. Not on this team.
yeah, I was gonna pick Kansas. But I can't bring myself to do it. I'm picking Texas, but I think it will be a very close game. I think they're going to give them problems again. I just think that's the type of matchup this is going to be.
First to 10 points wins, and Texas will be the first to 10. I don't know. I don't know. Like Texas, I just think Texas is a route. Boise State, Memphis. Good game. Good game.
Well, Memphis is my player focus. I think I'm gonna go with them. I think he's gonna have a better game. I'm not sold on Boise State at all. Memphis didn't look terrible against Missouri, so I'm going with Memphis. They're at home with the home team.
I'm also going with Memphis just because Boise State's just kind of there this year. Like normally, I'm like Boise State could give people problems, but they're just kind of there this year. Like I don't know. I'm more in on Memphis than I am on Boise State.
Boise State has ruined what could be a very special group of five offense because they don't want to utilize Taylor Green's legs. It was a problem last year when Taylor took over at quarterback. They didn't want to use his legs. And then at some point in the second half of the San Diego State game last year, ironically, used his legs and they really found something in the offense. Like they let him cook. That happened this year. That happened last week. He got to use his legs and play make. And it shows. that if he's using his legs, Boise State could put up a bunch of explosive plays, a bunch of yards, a bunch of points. However, I do not trust incompetent coaches. So I will take Memphis. If Taylor Green uses his legs, I will be very happy seeing Boise State win. You need to let that man play to the best of his potential, just like LSU needs to play Harold Perkins at edge. It's the same stuff. Let your star players get the most out of your star players. Also, Ashton Jeanty is going to be all up on my fantasy teams in a few years, and when he's in the NFL. RB1, I don't care who he gets drafted by. RB1, that guy is the best football player I've ever seen. Okay, maybe not that far, but he's very, very good football. LSU Ole Miss.
Is Lane Kiffin gonna make it 2-19? You know, I don't think he is, because ever since that Florida State game, Jaden Daniels has been playing absolutely lights out. Malik Davis is insane. I think LSU is kind of figuring out. Like I said, after those 4 games, you gotta start figuring things out. LSU is, Ole Miss is not. So I'm gonna go with the hot team, even on the road.
I am going with Ole Miss. It's gonna be a darty party, and yeah, my buddy's the backup center for Ole Miss, so we got that going for us. Another college game day pick for you. Nah, but for real, I think Lane has this one in the bag. I have faith still, even though he doesn't win big games. I think that this offense is very good, and now Michael Trigg's gone off the team completely, so that's fun. Yeah.
I'll be taking Ole Miss here. I don't know. I something, man. I don't know. I picked against Tulane on the upset special at the end of last season so much. I guess I'm just picking against LSU right now, and they're gonna win. And if I had a Heisman vote, Malik Neighbors would be in the top 5 right now as well. He is playing like one of the best players in the country. It's not for debate. If he goes nuts again on Saturday, that's a bad man. Notre Dame Duke. Wonder who Liam's taking.
I'm gonna go with Notre Dame. They're just coming off a loss. It's so hard. I think, like I said, they didn't look terrible versus Ohio State. Some coaching errors, yes. We cleaned that up. Sam Hartman, I mean, that offense is moving. I'm gonna go with Notre Dame. We're gonna find out how good Duke's defense is. We're gonna find out right now. You've been hyping them up. This is the game. I don't think they face a really good passing attack.
Incoming
I don't want to hear
56-50.
I don't want to hear Clemson.
I would never say that. I would never say that.
We're gonna see how good it is. Now they're finally facing a real offense. So we'll see. But as of right now, I'm going with Notre Dame.
I think a lot of teams mismanaged getting quarterbacks in the transfer portal this year. I don't think Notre Dame is one of them. I think Sam Hartman was a good pickup. However, I just don't like him, so I'm picking Duke.
What did he do to you?
I've heard about him for too long. I'll be honest with you. I just don't want to hear the name anymore. No, I'm joking. I think Duke are the better team here. I think Marcus Freeman is a very good coach, but I think Mike Elko is a better one. And I think Riley Leonard's a better quarterback. I think he will probably be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL draft this year. And for that reason, he has a, top 3 left tackle in the draft this year too. And I'm betting on those 2 guys.
Shockingly, I'm taking Duke here. And, shout out cousin Alex, who was a student manager for the Duke basketball team and had a viral clip of him because he almost got dunked on by an opposing player. So shout out cousin Alex. We're taking Duke. I've talked about him way too much today. I've said all the reasons. Coach Elko, I will come play for you this season if you allow me. I could play whatever position, backup quarterback, the mentor to Riley. Just get me on the team, man. Troy, Georgia State up next.
This one I went back and forth on. I ended up going with Troy as of right now, but that could change. I'm not gonna lie, in 2 hours when I think about it at the gym. I have no clue who to choose on this one. I'm gonna go with Troy because I think that they have the best player on the field, but we'll see. That could change.
I am also going to go with Troy. Obviously, one of my players I mentioned earlier is from Troy, so I feel like the obligation is there, but I also think they have a better roster. I don't know if they necessarily have better coaching, but I think they have a slightly better roster. I am a little bit concerned about just play calling on both sides of the ball, but I do just believe in the talent, and I think they're going to get it done. But I think it'll be very, very close game. Like I think this is going to come down to the wire.
Obviously, Troy, wide receiver Chris Lewis was one of my player focus picks. Zero obligation to take him. I've taken Georgia State. Dan and I were a year too early on Georgia State. We were hyping them up last year entering the season as a potential 8-win team, potential 9-win team. Stuff didn't happen. They dropped 2 games early against North and South Carolina, and for whatever reason, as Coach Elliott said, their players checked out. You lost those 2 games. You played one of them really close, and the North Carolina game very close, and your team checked out mentally after that, which is kind of jarring to think about. You were that close to being 1-1 with a win over UNC. You then lose to Charlotte, and the wheels just fell off. Georgia State looks a lot better this year, and they look like they're on a mission. A mission like Texas. Texas, Georgia State in the college football playoff. West Virginia, TCU next. How many people do you think took that seriously?
At least one.
Oh,
at least one angry tweet.
Oh man.
But give me TCU, and I'm taking the points. I'm still not on West Virginia train. TCU look really good against SMU. They kind of had Preston Stone fighting for his life, I think. And I think he's a good quarterback. So I imagine what they're gonna do to West Virginia. I said at the Big 12 at the start of the season, I don't think West Virginia is very good. They're 3-1. Shout out to them, but I don't see it. Give me TCU and the points.
I am also going to go TCU. I'm betting on talent. That's really all it is here. I don't think WVU has the talent to compete on this one. So I'm just going to pick them and kind of hope that grit doesn't win this game. But I'm going with TCU.
I picked TCU as well, and I switched my pick. I think that I could be the only one or one of 2 people that picks West Virginia. And you know what? I'll just take that. And if I'm the guy that saves the graphic, as we say, the one guy that took one guy took one side and 19 others took the other side, it's okay. I'll live with that. I'll take West Virginia. And we've talked a lot of smack about Neil Brown. We've questioned him a lot. So wouldn't it be right if there was one coach out there that proves a lot of people wrong and won some games they shouldn't have and competed for a bowl game in a year where he was on the hot seat? Stranger things have happened. They've gotten the lead offensive line. I like Nico Marichal at quarterback. I actually really like that lefty gunslinger. I think he could be something in a few years as we see him out there playing college football in 2046. Perry Ellis of the game and CJ Donaldson. I mean, there's not many better player success stories than a guy who's recruited as a receiver and the tight end that goes out there and starts playing running back from the very first down of college football he's played. An absolute beast. So that'll do it for us. That'll do it for game picks and all the other knowledge that we hope to have shared and spread. Perhaps some hatred was out there as well. Apologies. Love was shown to. Plenty of love. Send me a care package, Duke. I deserve it. You guys need care packages from anyone?
I mean, maybe we deserve them from Troy because I feel like there was a lot of Troy talk in a week where it's just Troy, man. But
Maybe. Yeah, we'll have to send this out to Coach Summerall and see what's up. Adam, do you need a care package?
I need a care package from every SEC team for making me watch that terrible brand of football this season.
Vanderbilt would happily send you it. Oh man, I appreciate you coming on here today, Luke. Really, really thank you. Where can people watch your content, listen to it?
So you can find me on the Weeball podcast, at the Weeball Network, and at Krumich Sports on Twitter and TikTok. That's really it for me. I don't do much else, but yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Please make sure to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment what we said wrong. Just tell us what we said wrong. You guys know a lot more ball than we do. So thank y'all.